Welcome to the Keaney Blue Chronicles,
where we take you inside URI Athletics.
From football to rowing
to coaches,
players, and everything in between. We got you covered here
on the Keaney Blue Chronicles.
Go Rhody!
The Keaney Blue Chronicles brought to you by the Muse Tavern in Wakefield, 69 beers on tap. And by Dave's Market, your hometown supermarkets. And by Lila Delman Real Estate. Lila Delman with everything from rentals to $1 million waterfront properties available. That's at Lila Delman Real Estate.
This gym that we're sitting in has been called home by countless URI students and fans.
And while this environment is as welcoming as ever, sometimes we can't forget where we were before we were here. Dwayne Scott, a football player from the Bronx, didn't come to URI just to play football. He was also seeking a new place to call home. I have all the details as to why this athlete left the Bronx and what he has found here in Rhode Island.
The Bronx is usually one of the rougher parts of New York. I'd say that it's very easy to get caught up in other things such as like gangs and things that take you away from what you should be focused on. I go home for a little bit when school's over, but then I come here mainly because I feel like once you become a college student and you get really involved in what's going on campus, that a lot of time when you go home there's not much for you besides family. You may have, a few friends here and there, but besides my immediate family and a couple coaches that I train with in my Step and Act family, there's not really much for me. I always had a drawing to football movies. The fun that they were having, the team camaraderie that guys had, it just looked like a bunch of guys having fun, just being physical, and it really drew me to the sport, and it really molded me to the man I am today. I'm not the tallest guy out there, so center seems to be a great fit for me, so that's where I ended up now. The URI felt like home. I felt welcomed here, and I felt like it was a great group of guys that I got along with here from the tri-state area, and it seemed like a bunch of guys that had the same goal as I did. That was coming here to change the history of this place, what's been going on, and I'm glad I came here.
From the Bronx, New York, Dwayne continues his journey here in Kingston, Rhode Island. He's been a leader on the team and made his mark on URI football.
Coming all the way from the Bronx is certainly a culture change, but another continent, that's a different story.
URI men's soccer coach Gareth Elliott hails from the land of leprechauns.
But I find out why he's more than just an Irishman coaching on foreign soil.
At face value, URI's men's soccer team has had an amazing season. But who's behind the scenes that helps keep the team encouraged and determined? Coach and former alum Gareth Elliott gave me an inside look on his life and where the team's success comes from.
I think that a lot of success of anything comes down to hard work and discipline, and I like to think of myself as a hard-working, disciplined person, and I think our team is hard-working and disciplined as well.
And it definitely shows. The Rams ended their regular season winning 12 out of their 16 games. But besides their obvious athleticism, Coach Elliott loves watching his team grow as students.
Some of our most recent graduates, one just earned a fully paid for 2-year master's program in finance here at URI. Another one who came from South Africa just got a fully paid for 2-year master's at Wake Forest in biomechanics. So to see stories like that and see people succeed in life, obviously we've had some players that have went on to play professionally, and that's great as well, and to celebrate their success and team success. But I think I really enjoy getting to be around young guys every day and work with them and develop them. I feel like in a way it keeps you young as well.
Coach Elliott definitely keeps the same youthful spirit he had when he came from Belfast, Ireland in 1998.
I was playing club soccer back home, and I got offered an opportunity to go to America on a college soccer scholarship, and I thought that would be pretty neat, where I could balance both the academics and athletics. So came to Rhode Island back in 1998. Obviously culturally it was a whole new experience, which was something that was exciting but nerve-wracking at the same time. But I think just to try something new and really be able to balance the academics and athletics at a high level.
When asked what advice he'd give himself, Coach Elliott just says to stay relaxed.
Try to stay calm, not get too excited. It's very easy when you're a coach initially or a head coach is to try to get too involved and try to say too much. I think sometimes the less said is better. So try to just not get too excited. Try to keep control of your emotions, and we're all competitive people in the coaching world and we all want to be successful, but trying not to get in the way of being successful.
Elliot's cool, calm, and collected demeanor has shown that you can make big things happen by believing in yourself and in your squad.
The URI men's soccer team won the Atlantic 10 championship and made it all the way to the NCAA tournament.
URI is notorious for recruiting the best of the best from all over the world.
So we were excited to find out that one of our international soccer players isn't only good at one sport, but one you'd never expect.
Ryan Sullivan has the story.
And on defense, a junior from Mosfelber, Iceland, number 21, 80s, Embla Ludvigsdottir.
Mastering one sport is tough. Mastering two sports is even harder. But mastering three sports is absolutely incredible. URI's 80s Ludvigsdottir, a junior on the women's soccer team, has mastered three sports up to this point in her life. A gymnast in her native Iceland, by way of trampolining and dance. A goalkeeper by way of handball. And a defender on the URI women's soccer team.
I did gymnastics for like 10 years. So I started when I was 5 years old and I stopped when I was 15. It's really hard. You have to, I didn't do anything else but school and sports when I was younger.
80s competed in her native Iceland at both in the trampolining and the dance portions of gymnastics. Her club team would go on to win a national title. After mastering gymnastics, Ludvigsdottir turned her attention to a sport rarely played in the US, handball.
Handball is really big in Iceland. So soccer and handball are the two biggest sports in Iceland. So everyone in soccer was also in handball.
While 80s has always been a good athlete, her passion has long been soccer. A fact not lost on URI women's soccer head coach Megan Jesse.
She's one of our more hardworking players on the team, obviously coming from Iceland. Although different or same sport, obviously approached a little bit differently in Iceland. So probably a little bit more sophistication in terms of her being able to read the game and stuff than some of our American players. So she does bring that element, which is great. She's been a pretty versatile defensive player for us, whether it's in the holding in the midfield or whether it's on the back line.
From a young age, Ludvigsdottir knew that playing soccer in the United States was one of her goals. Now, at the University of Rhode Island, she gets to live out that dream.
When I was 10 years old, my dad told me about going to college in the US and you can play soccer. So when I was really young, 10 years old, I decided that I'm gonna do that. I really want to do that.
Still to come, we tell the stories of two URI head coaches. One came here with history and another came here to make history.
Plus, we talked to former U.S. military veterans about their journey back to school and back to baseball.
And coming up, we have the secret behind URI football's first winning season since 2001. We'll be right back on the Keaney Blue Chronicles.
Since 1969, when Dave Cesario decided he was going to open a fruit stand where he could sell fruit and produce to the local people in Warwick, Rhode Island, called Dave's Fruitland, to today, when Dave's Marketplace has an outstanding reputation for quality products and superior customer service. The journey has been rewarding. Throughout the years, Dave's Marketplace has shown continued growth in both number of employees and sales. Congratulations.
Welcome back to the Keaney Blue Chronicles.
We're outside Lila Delman Real Estate. They provide housing to URI students and the greater URI community.
Sometimes when you're advancing so far in life, you forget your home.
But that's not the case for URI tennis coach Gordy Ernst. Here's Jack Fulton with more.
It means a lot. I mean, to be back here, to already, to have my mom and cousins and friends already out at the matches, to sort of be back where it all started.
URI's best-kept secret may just reside on the women's tennis coaching staff. Gordy Ernst, a Rhode Island-born legend, has had a whirlwind of a journey before finally coming back home to the state he made his name in. From playing for his legendary father, Dick Ernst, to dominating Rhode Island high school sports, to a two-sport career at Brown University, a stint on the ATP Tour, and even one on Wall Street, taking his reign in the New England Tennis Hall of Fame and everything fun in between.
They were all so excited about the turnaround and taking something that hasn't maybe done as well as we should over the last few years and say, okay, can we make a run for the A10 title? And that's why I'm here. I mean, coupled with the fact that I'm from here and being in Rhode Island is even more special, but I think that this opportunity is a great one.
Gordy Ernst was born and raised in Cranston, Rhode Island, where he starred and played for his legendary father, Dick Ernst, on the courts and on the ice, going 97-0 and never losing a set in high school tennis, while also managing to be drafted in the 10th round of the NHL draft by the Minnesota North Stars. But instead of pursuing a pro hockey career, he decided to stay close to home and attend Brown University and play both tennis and hockey.
When you start going to Brown hockey games when you're literally 3 years old, it becomes part of who you are, and so it was always right there as one of my top choices for colleges.
His first big coaching gig came in 2005 at Georgetown University, where he oversaw the struggling men's and women's tennis programs, and eventually led them to great success in the Big East Conference. Now Ernst's next task is to repeat his success for the women's program.
Coach, he's unique in his ability to individualize his coaching to each one of the players, which is what makes him a great coach. Especially with the game of tennis, you have to strategize and individualize each player to what best suits them, and Gordy does a fantastic job.
As Ernst begins his homecoming, what matters most aren't the accolades or the glory, it's the pride of coming from the beautiful Ocean State.
Washington's a great place, but it still isn't home. It's just where I lived for 12 years. But here, coming back home and doing it here at the University of Rhode Island is very, very special.
To learn more about Gordy's great life experiences, including him being the personal coach for Michelle Obama, you can visit our website.
And an interesting thing about Coach Ernst, back in his hockey playing days at Brown University, he made a lasting relationship with the current URI men's hockey coach.
I had the pleasure of sitting down with Coach Joe Augustine to talk about his legacy here at URI.
Had some offers out of state, Division I assistant coach offers. My wife is a true Rhode Islander. They don't really go very far, so figured out real quick that wasn't going to work by relocating, and so kind of ended up here.
Joe Augustine is entering his 30th season as the URI men's hockey team head coach. The former NHLer always had a love for the game, but never thought he would be the one behind the bench.
My last year when I went to camp and went without a contract, started having injury problems towards the end, and so my agent was a Rhode Island guy and wanted to know if I wanted to coach high school, and I actually was an assistant in high school for a couple of years, which was probably the best thing I ever did. I kind of, got my feet wet there and started to, gain some passion for coaching, because when you're playing, it's not even tough.
Senior captain Phil Akermark has enjoyed playing for Augustine for 4 seasons now, and thinks his time around the game has had a huge influence on the team and himself.
Well, I think he just brings a lot of experience. I mean, not only coaching, but he also played as well. So, I mean, for me personally, he also played defense, so brings a lot of insight for that. And I think just him, having coached for 30 years, he knows what to do. I don't think he's changed much over the years, and I don't know why he should. I mean, he's been successful in the past, so.
Augustine, who won a national championship and 2 League Coach of the Year awards, clinched 600 career wins last season with the team. But he'd be the first to tell you that it was not a one-man effort.
Our assistant coaches that we've had here have been really, really good. But the players, they play the games. You can do as much as you can, X's and O's and systems and so forth, but they're the ones who have to perform on the ice. So it's really the total number of wins is really an organizational, it's a program.
I think he likes players that are more hardworking and are willing to sacrifice things for the teammates rather than, toe dragging 10 players and score top shelf. I think he appreciates more the hardworking, hard-hitting, very structured play.
Augustine continues into his 30th season with the same love for the game and the same ultimate goal.
I mean, all around, he lives for hockey. So I know when he leaves the rink here, he goes home, and he just watches hockey.
There's so much potential here. That's another reason I state that everybody in the hockey world understands what we can have here.
Coach Augustine shows no signs of leaving his adopted home here in Rhode Island.
But if he's interested in upgrading his home, he should definitely come by here, Lila Delman Real Estate.
Up next, we will talk about the URI volleyball team connections to professional athletes.
Serving this country is as American as baseball, and the combination of the two is about as American as it gets.
Next up, the story of the URI athlete who is nominated for the 2018 U.S. Rowing Fans' Choice Awards.
Is that the Heisman for rowing?
And welcome back to the Keaney Blue Chronicles, everyone.
We are outside the Muse Tavern, the place to be before and after the big game.
Now, URI women's volleyball player Gabby Schilling grew up in a pretty competitive household.
She got recruited to play volleyball here at URI, and her brother, he got drafted to play in the MLB. Here's Danny with more.
Having a sibling go to the big leagues makes you pretty proud, and there's a URI volleyball player whose brother did just that. All the way from Clarkston, Michigan, Gabrielle Schilling is killing it on the volleyball court and said she found a home in Rhode Island.
Yeah, my junior year, I started the kind of recruiting process and got in contact with Coach Steve here. And as soon as I was on campus, it just felt like the perfect fit. And yeah, I was really stoked about coming. Yeah, URI was just always kind of up there for me. I loved the way the campus just felt like walking around, and the coaching staff here was just extremely welcoming, and the vibe was just, everything was right for me.
Her brother attended school at Illinois to play baseball. Schilling says it was a competitive household growing up with two D1 athletes.
My dad played baseball at Eastern Michigan, and then my brother ended up playing at Illinois and getting drafted. I'm playing here. My other brother, he played baseball throughout high school too. So yeah, extremely competitive growing up. Our parents were really supportive, but always pushed us to, try to be something greater than what we thought. So he has a really great mindset, and I know that if he keeps pushing, that I think that we can get into the big leagues someday. I mean, he's with the White Sox right now. I think he's
That's his favorite team?
Yeah, I mean, he's happy, I think. So yeah, I would say White Sox.
And Gabby isn't the only one with a sibling in the pros. Frankie Darnold, an assistant coach on the volleyball team, is brothers with Sam Darnold. Darnold was recently selected 3rd overall in the NFL draft.
Speaking of drafts, the Muse Tavern has 69 beers on tap that you are welcome to enjoy. Next up, we have Ariana, who sat down to two gentlemen on the URI Club baseball team, and they told their story about a uniqueness in brotherhood.
From the outside looking in, you might see your ordinary baseball team preparing for their new season ahead. But there are two young men on this team who are far from your typical college athletes.
My name is Zach Nardone. I'm from Hubbardston, Massachusetts. My name is Billy Ferrara. I'm from Maryland. Grew up playing baseball. My dad had me starting. I used to be a righty thrower until my dad started placing the ball in my left hand every single time I threw, so I'm a lefty now.
Although not everything was their choice, both Zach and Billy chose to join the military right out of high school.
So my whole family is pretty much in some way or another done something for their country. When it's my turn, I kind of looked at my whole family and realized that someone had to step up. I did 4 years in the Marines. I was stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. I deployed twice. We went out to Africa, a little bit of the Middle East. So I was in Alaska for almost 3.5 years. It's a specialty unit, so you do stuff that the rest of the Army doesn't do. A lot of Arctic training, cold weather in the mountains type stuff. And then I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I got to play with helicopters for a year. I've met the greatest brothers I've ever met in my life. I had some of the best experiences I've ever had. I wouldn't trade it for anything. You're closer with people that you never be that close to someone in the real world. That I can show up to the field and do my job no matter what my team asks of me. So that's a really big, I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from it.
Both Billy and Zach continue to do their job on and off the field. The D3 Club team is a new program at the University of Rhode Island that has developed strongly in such a short amount of time. Stay tuned to see what these young leaders accomplish in the season to come.
Who knows what other unique stories will come out of URI athletics in the future.
But we do know whatever athletes come to campus, it would be smart to come here to Muse Tavern.
Still ahead on the Keaney Blue Chronicles, one URI athlete going the distance at the World Rowing Championships.
And then the distance that made all the difference for the URI football team.
And finally, the URI football player who at one time in his career would have given anything to run those 3 more feet. Coming up next on the Keaney Blue Chronicles.
Since 1969, when Dave Cesario decided he was going to open a fruit stand where he could sell fruit and produce to the local people in Warwick, Rhode Island, called Dave's Fruitland, to today, when Dave's Marketplace has an outstanding reputation for quality products and superior customer service. The journey has been rewarding. Throughout the years, Dave's Marketplace has shown continued growth in both number of employees and sales. Congratulations.
Welcome back to the Keaney Blue Chronicles.
We're here at Meade Stadium, home to one of the more well-known teams here at URI.
Rowing isn't as well known as football.
But Allie Riley recently made a name for herself at the Paralympic Rowing Championships.
Allie Riley, a Rhode Island native and a student at the University of Rhode Island, joined the URI rowing team her freshman year, having no prior experience.
Where did you come up with the idea to start rowing?
Here, actually. So I'm from Rhode Island, went to URI and kind of just walked on the team as a novice, saw some flyers for meetings, thought I'd try it out, and now I'm here.
In high school, Allie was a cross-country and track runner. She played on her school's lacrosse team, and she enjoyed skiing with her family. Little did she know how busy she would be with rowing once she got to URI.
We have practice at 5:45 every morning, 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and then a typical day is probably going right from practice back to my house to shower and then grab a really quick bite to eat. And then from there to class all day. After class we have what are called post-rows, so it's like a workout on your own that I have to schedule in somewhere into my day and put in a logbook. And then from there, go back home, make dinner, shower, homework.
This year, Allie went to the World Championships for para-rowing.
So I was born with extra toes and fingers, and I've had lots of surgeries on my hands and feet to have them removed and reshape my bones and everything like that. So I have a lot of stiffness and lack of range of motion in my hands and feet, so that's what classifies me.
I'm really proud of Allie. I think she's hit a very high level, and bringing the silver medal back from the World Championships is a really big deal. So using her experience to help this team get another championship, that's our goal.
Allie's long-term goal is to go to the Paralympics in 2020, which will take place in Tokyo.
While Allie Riley's disability was something she had to push through in her sport, Lorenzo Bryant had to push through multiple injuries to get himself back onto the football field.
Zo's love for football started at a young age.
I was first playing football, I was about 4 years old. I always loved football. Even if I didn't like it, I had no choice. My dad, my other cousins, my uncles, my brother, I just looked up to them. We all used to play in the backyard.
And Zo definitely became the best. He holds high school records, led his high school team to a division championship in 2014, and was even ranked as the #1 running back in New Jersey.
Being the #1 running back in New Jersey was a great honor. It was a great feeling. It was like finally touching your dreams after so much just effort, time, and focus been put into it.
After high school, it was on to roadie.
I got injured on kickoff return.
Just as Zo was feeling the highest moment in his football career, he unfortunately also felt his lowest moment.
Tore my PCL, had a partial tear in my patella tendon.
This was only the first of many injuries Zo has faced.
He had a knee injury, he had a shoulder injury, he had shoulder surgery. He's, been through the ringer a little bit.
I feel like the end of the world. I never had football took away from me like that.
The mentality during the recovery period is so much individual because they don't have, constant contact with everybody other than the trainers. It's the hardest thing about being an athlete, not being able to be participating with the rest of your teammates.
My recovery period took about a full year to get back. And it entailed a lot of hard work, dedication, A lot of tears, blood, sweat.
Throughout these extremely physically and mentally tough times, Zoe never gave up.
His attitude has been tremendous in terms of how he's rehabilitated. Very talented guy, but dealing with the injuries, I think he's done a phenomenal job.
And his hard work paid off.
The URI football team is family. It just means brotherhood. I look to the guy to my right, I look to my guy to my left, and I know that they got my back just like how I got theirs. I'd do anything for these guys.
Zoe remains a perfect example of a dedicated and passionate athlete. He was faced with a challenge and overcame that challenge rather than let it defeat him.
My advice to anybody who goes through an injury is to stay the course. Everything happens for a reason, and it's a part of the process.
Zoe helped lead the team to an improved season, and even earlier this year they had a national ranking.
And with a new added mantra, 3 more feet, a new mindset emerged.
The University of Rhode Island football team started out the 2018 season in a perfect fashion. They became 2-0 for the first time since 2005, along with entering the FCS Top 25. With head coach Jim Fleming at the helm for the 5th time, he decided a little change was needed, adopting a new mantra for this season, 3 more feet. The story dating back far before the days of URI football, but the same message still applies. That message, to push.
It's a long story, I guess, written or told by Napoleon Hill. There's a guy who went out on the gold rush and, got every bit of fortune he had to buy the equipment, started digging for gold, started to get a little bit of success and, started to pay off his equipment, then the gold mine went dry. The guy who ended up buying the mine ended up going a slightly different direction, dug 3 more feet and hit the mother lode. For us, it's really about, continuing to reinforce the perseverance that this football program's been built on. And we've had to persevere through some tough times. And
while URI students and fans see this plastered around campus and bannered across Meade Stadium, the players use 3 more feet as a daily motivation, reminding them the work is never over, especially in the 4th quarter.
3 more feet, to me, it really hits home in the 4th quarter. Everyone's tired, everyone's drained, but you got to dig 3 more feet, and that's where you win in the 4th quarter. So
there's been multiple people that have said it. It's just when you're exhausted, when you're tired, when you're grinding. It's a lot like the Delaware game, that 4th quarter when the game's on the line, 2 points. Can you just find it, that one play at a time, just be able to finish it and kind of push that extra step that may be the difference in recovering the fumble or making the catch, and that's all we're looking forward to do.
Coaches put it on us, we put it on each other. We tell each other to push 3 more feet for a reason. That 3 more feet comes for times and situations like the one we just played in.
And while the physical aspect of practices haven't changed, with 3 more feet, a new attitude has emerged.
Thank you to all our sponsors.
This is only the first installment of the Keaney Blue Chronicles. Stay tuned for our next edition, all about URI men's and women's basketball.
Break!
The Keaney Blue Chronicles, brought to you by the Muse Tavern in Wakefield, 69 beers on tap. And by Dave's Market, your hometown supermarkets. And by Lila Delman Real Estate. Lila Delman with everything from rentals to $1 million waterfront properties available. That's at Lila Delman Real Estate.